Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Levi. This is the Cybersecurity Education Channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. So today I'm going to be talking about rental applications and my personal experience with rental applications. So the topic today that we're going to be talking about is what's the appropriate way to handle giving off your rental application to your landlord when you're going to apply for a rental place. I personally had this experience this last week, so I thought it was a good thing to point out to you guys on what the best way it is. What brought me to bring up this video is I was going to submit a rental application to a landlord, and I was going to be out of town, and I wasn't able to give it to her in person, and that's really the only method that she had. So she's just like, take a snapshot of the rental application and just go ahead and text it to me. It seems like a great idea, right? It makes it super easy. I can just snap it to her and boom, there we go. The rental application process is over. Except there's a social security number in there, and there's basically everything that is needed to steal all of my information and create fake financial accounts in my name. Nobody really wants financial accounts created in their name, and they don't want their identity stolen. So in this video, I'm going to give you tips and tricks on what to not do when sending a rental application to a landlord, and I'm going to tell you what to do when sending a rental application to a landlord so that can help you protect yourself from identity theft and having people create fake bank accounts in your name. So the number one thing when you're applying for a rental application, trust. Just like anything in life, you gotta trust the person that you're giving this application to, and especially if you're giving out your social security number and all this information that can be used for identity theft against you. You gotta really make sure you do some in-depth detail, do some checking on the person that you're running with, or the organization that you're running with, to make sure that they're a legit organization and that they haven't had any problems in the past with people. Go online and look up how other people have dealt with them. If you know people that have dealt with them, talk to them and see what their relationship was with them. Were they a good landlord? Were they trustworthy? Etc. You know, you really want to make sure that you trust whoever you give all this information out to. The number two thing really is, if you can avoid giving out your social security number, then great. Unfortunately, most landlords are going to require it so that they can do a background check on you and so that they can look up your credit score. But if you can get out of giving your social security number, that's really great. And I always advise that in any situation, like if you're going to the doctor's office or anything like that, a lot of times people will ask for your social security number just because they have always done it. And that's a bad reason. If they don't need it, then don't give it to them. All right, so going back to my example, the landlord requested that I send her my rental application in a text message, right? And it has my social security number and my birth date and my address, my previous addresses, basically all the information that is needed to compromise my identity if they wanted to use that for that purpose, or if that information got lost and someone else got a hold of it. So the number one do not here is do not send a text with that information in it, or do not send an unsecure email with that information in it. So, and the reason you don't want to do this is because both of those methods, somebody can get in between the device that you're sending it from and the other person's device, and it's not encrypted, and so then that data can be easily intercepted if somebody's sitting in between both of those. So that's why you don't want to use those methods. If there's like a web form where you can go and submit the data, you don't want to use an insecure web form. I have a previous video that I'll tag above here that talks about HTTPS encryption. If you're sending any type of information on a page, you want to make sure it has that doesn't say not secure up in the corner, or that it says HTTPS or something like that, so that you know the information is being encrypted as it's being sent, so that someone in between your device and that other person's device can't see the information that's traveling in between those. So, and then the last one, there's probably be some controversy with some some experts on this. Don't send via unencrypted fax. Same thing, you know, that data is the data between your fax machine and the other person's fax machine is not encrypted. And somebody can tap into that line and see all the information that's being sent. Not only do you have that risk, you have the risk of dialing the wrong phone number and sending it to somebody else. And then you have the risk of it being sent there and somebody grabbing it off of the fax machine that wasn't supposed to see it, right? Those are the three things that you absolutely should not do, in my opinion. So now we'll talk about what you should do. The number one most secure thing that you can do is hand in person by paper. Really, your only risk here is that the person is going to lose it and they're not going to securely dispose of it or shred it, or they insecurely put it in a spot, they scan it and put it on their computer. This really all comes back to trust. If you trust the person, hopefully they'll do the right thing. You know, you can also ask them, well, what are they going to do with your application after they're done with it? You know, tell them, hey, can you shred this? And if you do things like that, your chances are pretty high that your data is not going to get leaked. The second thing, hand in person by USB. Basically the same thing. You're just using a USB stick. They upload that to their computer. Your risk is a little bit higher because it's digital, and they need to be storing it in a secure location. But in both of these instances, you don't have the transmission factor, so it can't be intercepted from between your device and the other person's device, right? So I'd say both of those methods are fairly secure. And then also mailing in by paper or USB. You throw in that transmission factor, but it's not digitally. Honestly, the mail is probably safer than sending it across the line, and you just really have to worry about it getting lost in the mail. I would say these three options are probably your best options here. So now we'll go down to the ones down here. Using some type of app that's designed to securely store information, or that's designed for rental applications for sending them. This kind of goes down to a secure web form too. It's where you type in your information on a web page, and then it goes and securely sends that to them because the page is encrypted and it's set up to protect your information and store it encrypted. There's also other applications like LastPass where you can upload your data to it and then share it to a person. And then there's applications like LeapFile where you can kind of do like the same thing. So there's web applications that are specifically designed for rental applications and securing sensitive data. The other option would be is if you wanted to use email and that's your last resort and that's the only way that you can send it to them, you want to use a bunch of different methods to email it to them. So I highly advise password protecting the document, using a very secure password, you know, at least 15 characters or longer. You can watch my video up above about creating a secure password so you know how to create one. If you create a weak password, then it's not going to do as much good, right? So you go ahead, you make it into a PDF, you make it into a zip file, you make it into a Word document, you secure it with a strong password, a long, strong password. That's not in a password dictionary. And then I would go and upload it to like Dropbox or OneDrive. You put that person's email address in there and make it so that it only goes to them. Don't make the link so that it's open where anybody can see it. That has a link, it only goes to them. And then you send it to them that way. They basically get a link in their email inbox that they can click to go and view it. And then they don't have the password, so you got to send them the password. But the key is not to do it via email. You do it through some other method. You can do it by text message. You can do it through like a secure chat, like WhatsApp or Messenger or anything like that. Or you can call them on the phone and give them the password too. The key is you just don't want to give them that password in the email in case their email gets compromised. Because if you give them the password in the email, that eliminates the point of password protecting it in the first place, right? I mean, I guess unless they had it on their computer and they put it in an unsecure location that somebody saw it and that person didn't have access to their email. But it really pretty much eliminates the point. If their email gets hacked, then boom, somebody can get into the document. So yeah, these are the ways I would recommend doing it. Honestly, if you can hand it in person, those are really the best options. Otherwise, mailing it's a good option. Web form is a good option. The email option is not really the best option, but if that's your only option, then that's what you got to do. Just make sure that you follow all the steps that I talked about. You know, password protecting that with a strong password, putting that in some type of cloud storage, and then emailing them out that way. Absolutely, do not use SMS, texting or email. The risk is just too high for that. If somebody gets in between, or their email or tech or phone gets compromised, boom, all your stuff's out there. Your identity is more likely to get stolen, and you have a higher chance of fake financial accounts being created. And then the same thing with the insecure web form. The fax, there's kind of some controversy on that, whether that's a good method or not. Personally, I don't think that you should use faxes. I hope this information really helps you guys out. If you go through the same process of me, when somebody tells you to submit a rental application, this will kind of help you best protect your information, and hopefully prevent identity theft from you guys. The biggest thing, like I talk about in several of my videos, is you want to make it as hard as possible for somebody to get your information. The harder it is for somebody to get your information that's not supposed to have it, the less likely you'll be a victim, right? So I hope this really helps you guys. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.